Let's get ready for the Super Bowl because your boy Dylan Dupree here is ready, and I'm ready to double down on my takes because, oh man, I am excited. It's already been an exciting day of sports. This is going to be a really good game and a good Super Bowl this year, I'm thinking. So let's dive straight into it. All right. So we have the Patriots and Seahawks, two 14-3 teams and two very good teams, top to bottom, I would say. Patriots being 14-3, I think got there in a very different fashion in a sense. I know that seems weird to say two 14-3 teams, but Patriots had a much easier schedule throughout the season. That doesn't take away from how good they've been at all. But I will say that does make me skeptical of the fact of how they've gotten to the Super Bowl in a sense, and just if they can actually hold it to a team like the Seahawks, who again, I think top to bottom are a truly complete team. Whether you're talking about offense, defense, literally probably the best defense in the league this year. And then even their special teams is probably one of the best, if not the best in the league. So that's why I'm talking about this game with y'all and what I think here last minute before it starts. Everybody join in. Welcome in here. Hey, good to see you. Welcome into the chat, everyone, if you're joining us live. Let's get into it, though. It's already been a fun day. Like I said, I hit a little five-legger this morning on college basketball and a little NBA action as well. I had the Knicks money line and Jalen Brunson to score 25. The line was screaming the Knicks just the way that they had got blown out the other day. And then the fact that they were like plus 100 something against the Celtics today. It should have been a tighter matchup. And it was a good game, but definitely the Knicks handled business. And then I also had USC, which was definitely a scary game and matchup. Um, against Penn State today in college basketball. It was rough. Um, Basically, though, at the end of it, I had a hope and a feeling that my boy Elijah Arenas would carry out the game, and he did. So USC ended up winning against Penn State. I had South Florida and North Carolina State too. So we're playing with a little bit of house money going to the Super Bowl now. So let's give our favorite takes because there's a lot of stuff that I do like in this game. But before I get too far into the takes, I will say right now, before the game starts, is probably some of the best time to take the unders in a lot of things. I think that these are two of the best defenses in the league in a sense. Seahawks, like I already said, are probably the best defense this year. And Patriots are definitely top 7, top 10. I know their stats probably even say top 5, but I will say, again, they've had a very cupcake schedule in a lot of senses. So, in that sense, you got to adjust a little bit. I do think that the Rams are a very decent defense. I don't think they're bad. They were sort of mediocre, sort of good at points this year, and the Seahawks put them to work. They only averaged about a 1.5 to 2 point differential per game from what the Patriots defense was doing against a much easier schedule. So that gives you a little bit of perspective on that. I don't necessarily think this game is going to hit the over, though. It's at 45.5. I definitely think the under might happen. I'm much more comfortable at taking an alternate line. In fact, in one of my bigger parlays today for the game, I have an under of 54.5. That's something that I like for this game a lot. I like the Seahawks in this one. I don't know about you guys. Let me know what you think in the chat. Are you going for the Seahawks or are you going for the Patriots today in Super Bowl 60? Because my money right now says the Seahawks, and maybe the Patriots are going to shock me a bit today and prove to be the better team. I do think it'll be a good game, but even Pat Surtain, one of the best corners, if not the best corner, and one of the best defenders in the entire league, his prediction after losing to the Patriots, granted his quarterback was injured, his prediction was 32-7 Seahawks. I don't think it's going to be that big of a discrepancy in points, but I do think with the line being about 4.5, or for Seahawks to win by about 5, that's a line I could see the Patriots covering. I could see them losing by 3, and I'm much more comfortable personally with a Seahawks minus 2.5 to cover that 3 line. Um, Personally, I do even have one here with my under 54.5 where I have the Seahawks -6. I think -6 to 7 is that like comfortable range where I'm like the most that I'm willing to take. And I feel good with 6 because it's possible they could have 2 field goals that the Patriots kind of, you get the idea. They could win by 6 points, and that's at least a push. Um, let me see. Ken Walker today. Let's talk about my boy, Kenneth Walker. I know this is weird to say, but having Charbonnet hurt almost is a benefit to the Seahawks, in my opinion. I'm a huge Ken Walker fan, and this dude is great. And what you got to understand is having Charbonnet out of the way almost makes Ken Walker more of a threat. And I know that like that's kind of seems obvious, but also like the more carries and work that Ken Walker gets throughout the game, the better he typically is. He's one of those backs and one of those guys that can just wear down your defense. And even if Sam Darnold is struggling a little bit today, I could see both him and Drake May struggling at points. We'll get into that in a second here too. But Ken Walker is a dude can see them relying on. Both teams. I could see them trying to rely on their run game a little bit in this game. I will say the Patriots D has been quite good against running backs, or get at least the rushing aspect of the ball for sure. They haven't allowed too many 50 rushing yard games from running backs this year, actually. But again, they have had a very easy schedule too. I think even against Bijan Robinson, he had about 98 total rushing receiving yards. So he wouldn't have even hit that 100 rushing receiving yard mark that he normally hit throughout the season almost every game. um, However, I am ballsy enough and willing to take Ken Walker for 75 rushing and receiving yards today. I think he is definitely capable of hitting that mark and even capable of hitting that 100 mark like he did easily against the Rams, having 2 touchdowns against them too. I could see him actually having a similar game to that. And he's actually one of my favorite guys that I think could win the MVP for the Super Bowl here today. So I'm excited for it. Good looks, good looks. I'm glad it's working now. Let's go. Okay. Um, let's see. What else do I have? Okay, talking about those quarterbacks and how I think both of them could struggle today. They're both good. They both could easily have great games. Don't get me wrong, but they're playing good defenses, and we've already seen them struggle against bad or very good defenses in the past. I think both of them having a turnover in this game is very, very possible. In fact, Drake May having an interception is one of my favorite plays on the day, actually. And I wouldn't actually be against Sam Darnold having an interception either. I think both of them, those guys are capable of throwing a pick today. I actually am a big fan of Kenneth Walker over 2.5 receptions. I know I already said a lot of people are going to be taking overs and stuff, especially for player props. And at some point, especially right now before the game, it might be a good time to counter that with taking the unders and players. I don't think Jackson Smith and Jigba is going to hit that line of 92.5 receiving yards today. It's very possible. And there is a part of me that believes Jackson Smith and Jigba could have that like natty championship type game that he had back in the day where he had like some ridiculous like 300 yards or something and 3 tuds. It was insane. You had to be there. But it kind of showed that he could be the player that he is today for a lot of us that saw him playing back then. And I feel like that could be just who he is in these type of games. And I'm excited to see the type of game he puts up. I would love to take him for a touchdown too. I wouldn't be against that. Uh, but I don't really like taking his overs on the lines today. I kind of am more comfortable with taking that under on his receiving yard line. And there's again, I know I'm talking about the unders here and how they're a good play, but I do like the over of Ken Walker 2.5 receptions. I think he could easily get 3 receptions. They might have to check it down to him a decent amount today. And again, he might not get all of his work on the in terms of yardage on the ground, as they've only allowed what a couple 50 plus rushing yard games this year. So I do think Ken Walker could have a big game. I wouldn't be surprised if he does just destroy them on the ground, but it is possible. It is possible too that Travion Henderson has been saved up all season to be used today. I love Travion Henderson. I kind of doubt it, but I do kind of like him for a touchdown or Ramondre Stevenson. And in terms of JSN, I do like him for a touchdown, but a guy who's done it, been there, done it, done that. You know what I mean? Cooper Cup, I think he would be great for a touchdown today as well, too. I could see him scoring one easily. Let me know what you guys think, though. If you have any plays that you want to put into the chat, let me see what you guys are saying. Oh yeah, the jalapeno poppers were definitely a huge part of why my mic wasn't working. um, what else do I have? Oh, Darnold, I already said to have 200 passing yards. I could see Cooper Cup having 25 plus, or maybe even 50 receiving. He might be used a decent amount today. Who knows, man? I hope he has a great game. It'd be crazy if the Patriots win. I could easily see it. They're dogs today, but either team could truly win. I think the better team is the Seattle Seahawks, top to bottom. I think that the 4.5 kind of shows that. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up even covering that line too, but I am much more comfortable and realistic with the fact that the Patriots probably will. You got about 20 minutes here to put any last parlays or little bets you got out there. Good luck today, everybody. God bless you all. Much love to everyone. I'll see you in the next one. And good luck with your Super Bowl plays. And go Seahawks. Let's go.